your life.
Terribly sorry about that. We had some technical issues, I think partially caused by Ziggy nudging the microphone, which made the microphone turn off, therefore you couldn't hear us. I'm terribly sorry about that. I'll go on to the next set of exercises that I was going to do, which involve you grabbing either a TheraBand or a pair of tights. So I've just folded mine in half like this, then you fold in half again, making sure that you've got a nice bit of fabric for you to put your feet into. This was something that we did an awful lot whilst I was still in training. It's really, really good for foot strength, and it's good to get you working your feet in the correct alignment. So you're not going this way too far, or you're not going this way. You need to be right down the middle as a point. So what you do is you put your foot into here and you hold on and you push down and stretch. If you've got too much force like I have, you may want to just use your tights like this with one sort of overlap. So what you do is you push down, you stretch your foot and you flex it. You push down to stretch and you flex. Controlling as much as you can your feet. My feet are quite strong and they tend to pop TheraBands off them like I'm doing with these tights. So it's always a good idea to try and make sure as you do this that you've got a nice steady grip on either the tights or the TheraBand. Let me show you what I'm doing without the TheraBand or the tights. So what you do is you keep your foot nice and straight. You don't want to be going inwards and you don't want to be going too far outwards. You go straight down the middle as you point your foot, and then you reverse that action to flex it again, keeping the alignment. So let's have a go at that. Let's do 5 on one foot and then 5 on the other. So set yourself up, make sure you've got enough of your tights over your foot. Okay, so this is the first one. 2. Try and keep your toes as stretched as possible. 3, 4, and 5. Try really hard when you do this not to scrunch your toes up. I know it's difficult because you've got either the plastic of the TheraBand or you've got your tights kind of in the way. The issue that you would run into if you're going to crunch your feet up like that is that if you put your foot in a point shoe with your toes all crunched, the first thing that's going to happen is that you'll come into a lot of difficulty with sort of the little knuckles of your toes. They'll be crunching across the top of the shoe. You won't be able to get up on point properly because you need flat toes to be able to stand on point properly, because you really are actually standing on the very, very tips of your toes. You're not standing here on the ball of your foot, you're standing right there. So that's why this exercise is good, to get your foot nice and coordinated so that when you go on point, your foot stays straight and it's nice and strong. Let's have another go on the other foot. Get your tights or your TheraBand. Stick it around. Make sure that you've got a nice posture whilst you do this as well. We'll do 5 on this foot. This is the first one. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if you need more of a struggle, it's okay, like basically more of a struggle, I meant if you need more strength behind it, it's easy. It's okay that you can hold your tights a bit closer. You don't have to hold them so far away. This makes it a bit easier, and this makes it a bit harder to do. My right foot is still really strong, so it's dealing quite well with that as we're going along. Let's have another go. Let's do 5 on this foot, 5 on that foot. Then we'll talk about point shoes. So put your tights or your TheraBand back over your foot. Adjust to whether you need more strength or less strength. I'm going to go for sort of medium here because my left foot's still a bit weak. And we're going to go all the way down and up. 1, 2. Feel free to readjust if you need. 3, 4, and 5. And then the other one. Make sure that you've got a nice mat grip there. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. That's not really sitting straight. Let me just adjust that. 4. And the last one really needs a readjustment, unfortunately. This is why TheraBands are better, but tights are good in a pinch. And 5. What you really need for this to work properly is basically what a TheraBand is it's a long sheet of plastic that comes in different strengths. They're used for physiotherapy, they're used for strengthening exercises. They're good to strengthen anything in your body if you've got the right amount of exercises to do and you know what you're doing. Specifically for feet and dancers, they've been a godsend. They're really, really good for ankle injuries as well. Specifically, the ankle injuries I used to suffer from were overuse quite a lot. And then one time I did rip my ankle on point, which was very painful. So getting better from that, you can do exercises to strengthen your ankles and prevent that with a TheraBand. If you've got tights as well in a pinch like I've got at the minute, this is one of the exercises you can do. So you sickle your ankle in and you straighten it up again. In and up. What that's doing is it's making all the tiny little muscles around your ankle work to stabilize it. That's very good for point work because you don't want to be rocking around on point. You can do that the other way as well. So you can wing your foot outward and bring it back to the center again. So your foot's going that way, away from your body, and then back in against the center. This one was instrumental in me getting my left leg better after yet another overuse injury in my ankle. It's very, very difficult to get this particular exercise right without all that sort of little tiny movement. But eventually, once you practice enough, you will get that and it'll be nice and smooth. It's really, really good for proprioception. Let's do the other leg. So loop your tights around, hold your tights away. This is when we're going in and back. No. In and back. In and back to straight. In and back. You can wing it outwards as well. All the way out and back. As you can see, this foot struggles a lot more than the other one, but that's the one I have the injury on. So this one I will work on a lot more, and I'll make sure that basically it's not doing as many of these big jumps. You want it to be as smooth as possible. Have a bit of a break, give your ankles a shake, and we'll do that one more time. Loop your tights around your ankle. Let's begin again. In and back. In and back. Do this another 3 times. All the way in. All the way in. And last time. And then switch. I'm going to go out and come back. All the way out and back. Make sure you keep your shoulders down and have good posture whilst you do this as well. Hello, Teller, have you come to help? That's the last one for this foot. Okay, let's go for this one. 5 times out and back. Out and back. 3rd time and back. 4th time and back. 5th time and back. And then the other way. And 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Now I did say I'd speak about point shoes next. You've probably already been given this talk, and if you're a long-term point worker, you'll know this already, but point work is incredibly fun. It's really challenging. There's a lot of cool stuff you get to learn. Putting on your pair of pointe shoes, the first ever pair that you've got for the first time, is one of the best experiences as a female dancer that you can have, or as a male dancer. Google Le Ballet Monte Carlo di Trocadero. They're hilarious. Bunch of dudes on point. Amazing work. So my pointe shoes when I first started were not these. These are Gainer Mindens. You mostly don't get to wear these until you've been doing point work for a while, mostly because you need to train your feet up to be very strong. Gainers tend to be a little difficult to work with initially, but once you've got used to them, they are amazing. They are my absolute favourites. I used to use, as meaningful, the pointe shoes that I used to use quite a lot. I used to use Grishko pointe shoes. I loved those. They had a lovely solid toe that I could just keep dancing on forever. I did not really take too well to block. I used to find that they'd sort of wing my toes up at the end, so this end of the block would sort of point up eventually. But I know that some people swear by them, and I know that the toe in a block is like the one in Grishko. They're quite strong. My first ever pair of shoes were a pair of Gambas. Now, I don't know if any stockists in and around Bolton or Manchester still supply Gambas, but they were so lovely to dance in. They had a nice wide toe, like the actual block on the end was lovely and wide. They had enough room in the actual shoe here for my rather wide feet, and they were fairly decent with my tiny skinny heel because I have triangle feet. They were amazing shoes. I think I murdered them in about 3 or 4 months and then kept dancing on them when they were whisper soft because I didn't want to give them up. The one thing about starting point work at the beginning of your point work journey is it's all very new, it's very exciting, but there's a lot of difficulty involved with it. And honestly, it's not the easiest on your feet and it does hurt. I have, luckily, only got a tiny bit of damage because I had such strong feet and I started when my feet were ready. And I mean, Christine and Laura will have taken you to point shoe shops or shown you which one to go to when you guys were ready for it. Going up on point before you're ready is a serious, serious problem. It can damage your feet permanently. I once danced with a girl who went to a Russian ballet school physically in Russia, and they put her on point far too early and she had huge bunions and very, very sore feet as a result. And she had to like basically scrape the inside of her point shoe to be able to fit a bunion in it, which is not what you want. Point work wise, I'm going to show you how to stick your shoes on, and I'm going to show you a couple of exercises. Christine's probably gone over them, but I'll go over them again with you just as a refresher. So the way I always used to do my point shoes back in the day was I assign a foot to each shoe. This is apparently my left one. Yep. And this is my right. I've written both my initials into the side. I've written Ellen. When you sew your point shoes, what you want to do is something similar to what I've done here with mine. So what I usually do is I fold the ribbon over, because then that way it doesn't go and you end up with a load of just frayed ribbon all the way up. So if you fold it over, it stops the fraying. Then what I've done here is I've sewn it sort of on this part of the Gainer Minden because they're quite hard to get a needle through. So I've sewn it mostly on the satin around the top there, and I've left that part free. Although I have been able to puncture this before and go the whole way through. You can, if you're very careful, get your needle in between the satin and the cotton area. Personally for me, I have always needed a pair of elastics on my point shoes. You sew them as far back as they'll go, basically. I'll just shove my foot inside and show you. What you want is for the elastic to go around this part of your foot here. You don't want it to be too far forward unless that's where you need the support. There's no real wrong way to sew the elastic on your shoe, but what you want is you want the back of your shoe to stay on your heel, and you want support wherever you need it. For me, I needed the support here because my ankles are so bendy. And for some of my gainers, I actually needed to sew a little bit here because sometimes my feet were getting so strong that I was always feeling like I was going to pop forward out of my shoe. So that's a quick discussion on how to sew your shoes. Now I'll show you how I put my own toe kit on. Yours is probably a little different to mine. Like I said before, this is my little squishy in between here so that this stays straight. Can you see the difference? Before, and after. It's a lot straighter. So that goes in there, but I usually do that last. What happens first is I'll normally stick a little toe protector cap on. This is the last thing that goes on over that. Can you see these ouch pouches are really good? They've like protected all of that area of my foot. Then this goes over the top and I'm ready to go. Foot in shoe. Now just be aware of how you tie your point shoes. Gainer Mindens come with the elastic here. Other point shoes pretty much all come with the elastic up here, so you need to tuck them in. But elastics aside, ribbons aside, the best way to tie your point shoe is like this. So this inside ribbon starts first, comes round, wraps around your ankle. I normally take the second ribbon here. This one comes round, wraps around your ankle. I grab this one at that point. This one continues all the way around your ankle, and you tie your shoe here. You do not tie your shoe here, 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 or here. And I will explain why in a second once I've just finished this knot. There is a serious reason as to why dancers tie our shoes the way we tie them. And you'll have seen a lot of, you know, pseudo ballet type programs that show big, beautiful bows at the front of the ankle and a huge satiny bow trailing off the back. None of that's correct, and I'll tell you why. This tendon, your Achilles tendon, is incredibly sensitive. It's sensitive to most things. It's sensitive to heat, cold, pressure, you name it, it does not like it. If you put a knot on the back of your ankle and you're going up and down and that Achilles tendon is rubbing on the knot, you'll get tendonitis. I've had it a lot in my life. It's not pleasant. So this is why you sew and tie your shoes the way that you sew and tie them. It's so that you're safe. I'll do the other foot and then we'll do a couple of little chair exercises and then I do believe we're done. So I'll show you again. Toe cap on. And then this guy on, my ouch pouch. This one goes over the top like so. I don't think you'd fit point shoes, Zig. Don't think they'd work for you. So I always make sure that I flatten my elastic out as well before I put my shoe on, because there's nothing worse than rolled elastic on your point shoe, really. Foot in shoe. This one might need a tad bit of loosening. And if you do need to loosen your elastic, that's possible. The boys have decided that since I'm not walking them just yet, they're going to play catch me, and chase me. So for gainers, it's a little different than normal shoes. With a normal point shoe, you'd untie the ribbon from the front and the elastic even from the front. I untie mine from the side because that's where they are on gainers. Give yourself a little bit of extra room by pulling at the shoe. Work out where you need the extra room. For me, it's at the back of the ankle. So if you just pull the elastic loose, it should be fine. Then you get to tie it again, just the same way as it was tied before. I've just slackened this off and the difference is huge. And then you tuck everything in. I think this is why gainers have the elastic where they have them. Then you tie your shoe. Inside one first. Then you do your outside one. I'll show you the outside one properly because you haven't seen that yet. That comes across over here, wraps around your ankle, and they both tie here. Another thing that you should not do is try and really pull tight on your ribbons, because that's still not good for any of your tendons in your foot. Your shoe should be held on via your elastic and your ribbon. It shouldn't be like pulled onto your foot. So then you just tie your ribbon in a secure double knot. If you struggle with your ribbons popping open, hairspray those things. It's really helpful to do that. You would not believe how many times in a performance I have relied on hairspray to stop flyaway ribbons. A lot is the answer. Right, so now my feet are in my shoes. I'm going to talk to you about what's going on inside. All my toes are flat. Nothing is crunched this way, nothing is crunched this way, and nothing is crunched this way. Everything is flat. That's how they feel inside my shoe. If you have shoes that are making things crunch up like this, or crunch this way or that way, you've got yourself too small of a box. You need a wider fitting. The backs of the shoes are nicely sat on the bottom of my ankle here, on my heel even, and they're not digging or pushing. This is a little tight, so I might loosen the elastic. I'll do that and show you again. I mean, it's been a while since I wore pointe shoes, so inevitably my feet will have changed a little. There goes Tella. This is another way I used to loosen my shoes. Just pull on the back and point my foot. Much better. Tie your ribbon up and you're good to go. Elastic even. All right, let's get that tucked inside. So your heel should be nice, sitting nice in your shoe. You shouldn't have any problems with your toes crossing or crunching. And when you stand up in your pointe shoes, with your feet flat on the floor, you should have the same thing. They shouldn't be crossing or squished or feeling like you've got sort of your toes all crunched up like this against the end of the shoe. You should be able to put your feet on point, and you should be able to feel that your toes are doing this and not this. All right, let me just clear away this little mat, and I'll bring a chair and we can do a couple of point work exercises. So, as I'm clearing away, I will just explain what these are. Those little things that you see in front of you are useful for contemporary, but I think they're also fairly good for foot training as well. I randomly got them as just a little free thing with a leotard at one point, and what they are is they're like little foot gloves for your feet. So if you struggle with having very sensitive soles of your feet, you might be able to use these for a bit until your feet get less sensitive. So they're like little foot gloves, can you see? And they've got a little bit of like leather on the sole, so that when you're spinning, you're not hurting the sole of your foot. So that's what these are. That's what I just wanted to talk to you about. So just in case you come into contact with a bad floor at some point in your dance career, these might save you bacon. There's lots of them. There's lots of different brands. Right. If you're on carpet, be careful, please. Don't go crazy. If you've got a wooden floor or a tiled floor, that's the best option, really. Wood's probably your best bet. So grab yourself a chair or hold onto something strong in front of you. What we're going to do is we're just going to do a couple of pony trots and a couple of pliés, but through the feet. So what you want to do, you want to rise up onto your feet, roll down and push your foot forward. Rise, roll down, push your foot forward. Rise, roll down, push your foot forward. Can you see what my insteps and what my metatarsal arches are doing? As I'm rolling, I'm actually pushing through the shoe. I'm not kind of going like that. I'll show you what I mean. I'm doing this. Using each single part of my foot to roll up and down through my shoe. So that's what you're aiming for. Every time you do pony trots, you don't want to be kind of going flop, 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 and you don't want to be doing this either. You want to be right forward on that foot, and you want to make extra sure that when you're up on point, that you're really, really stretching as much as you can through your shoes. You're not sitting, I can't even do that anymore. I used to be able to demonstrate. So you're not sitting in your shoe, you're pulling up out of it. Can you see the difference? It's not this, it's this. So let's have a go. Let's do 8 pony trots. Then we're going to do plie, roll over, push up, roll down, rise up, push over, roll down, and then stretch. And then we'll have a break. And then we'll do that on turnout. First of all, let's go in parallel. Nice and easy. Be careful if you're on carpet, please. If you feel that you can't do this on carpet, wait until you've got space that is available for you to do it on something like a laminate floor or maybe tiles, but be careful. And no pirouettes. All right, ready? And 1, and 2. Roll through your feet. And 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put your foot down. Plie. Over. Stretch. And down. Eyes up. Plie. Roll down. And stretch. Give your feet a shake. So I'll probably need it by then. And we're going to go into turnout. Now, you might have to face you this way a bit more. Yeah, you can still see me good. Yeah. So when you're in turnout, pony trots feel really weird. You look kind of weird as well, but they're very good for you. You roll up this way into first position, and you're rolling down onto one foot. Rolling up. Rolling. It's a good way to get you used to transferring your weight safely from foot to foot. Can you see what my feet are doing as well? They're not just going plop, plop. I'm really pushing through each single bit of my foot. Okay, so we do 8 of those. I'm going to go plie, over, up, and roll down, up, plie, roll down, and stretch. Then we'll give our legs a shake, and we'll do the turned in one, the parallel version, one more time. Okay, so let's do the turned out version. Make sure you've got something right in front of you like this. I can't do that, otherwise you won't see. Make sure that whatever you're holding is in front of you. Okay, ready? And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plie, push over, stretch up, and down. Rise up, plie, down, stretch. Give it shake. What I'm doing here is I'm just pulling my feet slightly further back in the point shoe. What I usually do is I put the end of the shoe like that and just pull gently. And it should stop your feet from feeling like they've just slid down to the ends of your shoes. One more time with the parallel version. And then I think that would be probably enough for today. Sorry about the technical hitches. All right, ready? And 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plie, over, up, and down, up, plie, down, and stretch. Don't think Tella's ever seen point shoes before, have you, Tella? Okay. Well, I think that concludes today's foot workshop. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much for putting up with the technical issues. I'll do a couple more exercises in another foot workshop at some point next week, I think. If you practice these basic ones, they should do you well for getting your feet nice and strengthened. Be very careful on carpet. I know I keep saying this, but I vividly remember some practices that I've had to do sort of on carpet in weird places where they want you to dance on a tiny little square and they offer you carpet as a practice room. So just be careful. It's really difficult to dance on carpet, number 1. Number 2, in point shoes, it becomes very dangerous. Carpet's not flat enough to give you a good enough platform to stand on because it makes you wobble, and that's not good for your ankles. So thank you very much once again. Nice to have everybody with me, and I'll see you all next time I stream. Goodbye.